Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos a otro episodio de Empodérate de Chicanos por la Causa. We are excited to welcome you back into the studio here at GLASS, the Girls Leadership Academy of Chicanos por la Causa, aquí en el centro de Phoenix. That they just had a graduation, right, Fatima? How was that? I know you had a chance to go see the students that graduated 2025 class.
Yeah, so this year, our valedictorian and salutatorian, they were actually twin sisters. So that's a really interesting story.
I'm so excited. I saw some of the pictures. The parents and our staff, Connie, our principal, was there to welcome and, congratulate the parents because it's certainly a community effort to get students out and ready into the world in the next step into whatever that may be, right? Whether it will be continuing their education or going to the workforce.
Yeah, the students, I think in total got $15,000 in scholarships. So that's a really great foundation for them to follow their dreams. So it's a really great thing.
Awesome. Those are always really inspiring stories. And so is the one that we have to share with you today. We created Empodérate to be able to have space where we share our stories. And I know that you're focusing specifically on foodie lovers for this one.
Yes. So today we have a great episode for foodie lovers. We have a very talented guest that actually started in COVID, during COVID, to share her love of cooking. So we have today Ana Regalado, and her influencer name is, or AKA known as Salty Cocina, home chef, influencer. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much. And I know that you had a somewhat of a drive to get here. So we appreciate you and your husband having the time, taking the time to be here with us today.
Of course. It's always nice to get out of the routine.
Yes, that's awesome. So we have a lot to share. Let's start with about your upbringing. We understand that you're from Zacatecas. And how is that like? What's your family? Where did you guys grow up? Mainly in Zacatecas and then move to Arizona? Or what was your journey?
Well, I was born in Zacatecas, Mexico. I lived there for 6 years. And my parents were always here. And we were always staying with aunts, grandmas. And at one point, they decided, well, let's just all move to the U.S. And my mom, she made the journey all the way from Zacatecas to Nogales with 5 kids.
Oh, wow.
One of them being only a few months old. So I'm sure it was hard for her. But
so it was a pretty big family moving over. You moved over when you were 7?
I was 6.
Or 6 or 7? Yeah. Oh, okay.
And my dad was already here in Mesa with my older brother, so we all came and we
made this your home.
How was it? Did you learn from a young age, like your first recipe, like helping out your tias and your mom in the kitchen?
In Mexico, I used to watch. I didn't do a lot of the cooking
because you were 6.
I would eat it, but I would watch.
I know sometimes they have you like help out, like cutting, or maybe not cutting. That's dangerous.
Like little tortillitas.
That's how they start
either by hand or there was como unas prensas chiquititas that they had for like little kids, and then I remember like I just like practice. Con una prensa.
Yeah, but I would watch my grandma and my aunts and my mom too as well. When she was over there, she'd cook over her wood stove because we didn't have any electricity, water, or some of the stuff that we take for granted nowadays. Mm-hmm. But
and then here, so this had been your first home for your entire family. It was Arizona, so Mesa, and then eventually you moved to Maricopa when you got married. So Arizona has always been your home after Zacatecas?
Arizona, Phoenix. I lived in Phoenix, Mesa. At one point, we did move to Utah, but I did not like the cold weather. So we moved back to Arizona.
It didn't last very long. How long did you guys live in Utah for?
A year.
A year? Oh, okay. Oh,
one of my sons was born there. And after he was born, we moved back.
So how did Salty Cocina started? We understand that, 2020 for a lot of us, right? There is before and after. Certainly, we learned a lot, and new businesses also came out of that, and a lot of, I think, self-care or emphasis and being mindful of that as well as we were cooking to our homes. But for you, it became an opportunity to be able to share your recipes with your children. How was that? So they were not in Arizona living with you anymore?
Yeah, they were all living. Actually, we had all our kids were staying with us at that time. Mm-hmm. So even my older kids, except for one of them, because he was living with his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And my daughter, my oldest one, she was going to nursing school, mm-hmm. so she was staying with us, so she could, we could watch our kids and stuff. But during that time, there was so much uncertainty, so much everything that was going on. People were getting sick, they were passing away. So I'm like, what if something happens to me? So that's when the idea came about that I'm going to make a virtual cookbook for my kids. I have all the time in the world right now because we can't go anywhere. So I started making videos. And mind you that I didn't have no experience making videos. I started cold turkey.
Can you describe a little bit about how it was like starting off learning technology and all of that, like TikTok?
Well, I didn't. TikTok, my kids introduced me to TikTok, watching videos, and I was watching them. And I'm like, oh, it would be cool to just, make cooking videos. So I started one making una salsa de molcajete. Oh. And it just went viral. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to make more. And then that's when the idea that, I'm going to make a cookbook for my kids, a virtual cookbook. So if something happens to me, they have those recipes and they can recreate them for their kids. And if you think about it, I thought about, how great would it be to watch my grandma, show me how to cook, how to make her recipes. And I can see her, even though she's not here, we can still see her and enjoy her presence in the kitchen. So that was my idea.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I think of my grandma as well. And I remember the only thing I did is took pictures of hacía un caldo de machaca con queso. So good. And then the only thing I did ended up taking pictures when I had her at my house visiting and where she was cutting different vegetables. So I will remember, okay, which one it is. But being able to have the opportunity to listen and hear how she was teaching me and others, it's amazing. And that's something so part of our culture, being able to share our stories, being able to share, in this case, our food that is so ingrained in who we are. Mm-hmm. And what was the response from your kids? Have they been able to help you after or give you some recommendations on how to present or go about editing your videos?
Oh they've all been very helpful because they know technology. So they all help me, edit, learn new techniques, editing apps and stuff like that. They've been very helpful. And of course, my husband over there, he's always willing to try the food, be in the videos. My kids, not so much, but he's always willing to be in the videos, and he helps me out a lot with the recording and stuff.
Well, we can volunteer to be taste testers whenever you want.
Anytime.
Anytime we're in Maricopa. Right? We'll hit you
or maybe we can make it a day.
Yeah, a day trip.
Day trip. Tell us about, especially your place. So it's a farm, and you turn it into something very community grounded. Tell us about what that space also, because it's outside of just your phone, is being able to, build community. That you've been able to do that.
So we, I always dreamt of going back to Mexico, and that with my kids growing up here, they're used to living here. They know the language here. It just wasn't possible because I wasn't going to uproot them and, take them somewhere totally different. So we bought a little farm outside Maricopa, and we've been kind of turning it into our little compound, making it look a little bit like Mexico with the bright colors and planting and flowers. And it's just been going really good because before the COVID, we had an online store, an online auction that we kind of had to stop because everything seemed to just stop. Mm-hmm. And at our new place, we have the opportunity to open like a little shop, a secondhand shop that, the immigrants, the ones that come from Guatemala, from different parts of Mexico, they look for us because they can get, clothing and stuff at a good, practically nothing because, we want to help in a little way, but then at the same time, it helps our little farm grow.
Yeah.
So we've been enjoying it a lot. So
Yeah.
Can you tell us about your farm? Like what animals you have?
we have, this morning we had 4 goats. 4? And then when we left, we had 5 because somebody dropped one off.
Tell us about
Just
how that
casually got
happened.
gifted a goat.
And we have about 20 chickens and 3 ducks. And then last week, somebody offered us a whole horse, but we don't have nowhere to put it. So we had to turn it down.
Oh, wow.
So,
Oh, no, go ahead. Tell us about the story about the goat.
Oh, yeah.
How did it come to live in your house this morning?
Well, yesterday, somebody on Facebook was giving one out. And they would say for free to a good home. And we commented. We said, we'll take them or her because we wanted to make sure it was a her because I want the goats for the milk. And she never messaged back. So we assumed, okay, he went to a good home. And this morning, our neighbor, one of our customers comes in. He goes, you guys want a goat? He goes, I have a goat. If you guys want it. He goes, well, we were looking for one yesterday, but I guess somebody picked it up. He goes, yeah, that was me.
Oh, so the neighbor picked it up for you?
No, he picked it up because his daughter wanted it.
Oh.
But they all went to work. They went to do their own thing, and they left him with the goat. And he goes,
Oh, so he's like,
I don't want another pet.
he saw what the future was entailing. He's like, I'm going to be the one taking care of the goat. So I might as well take care of the problem.
yeah.
And plus now the goat found a bigger family because she has four other goats.
2 brothers and 2 sisters.
That's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a little bit, high maintenance goats. Some of them are, they're smaller for sure. Like, many
The
pets.
2 small ones we have, we still bottle feed them. So they're only 3 weeks. So every 4 hours we bottle feed them.
Oh.
But it's so cute because they're so tiny and they're like babies.
Yeah, you're right. They do behave like babies, jumping everywhere.
Do you have you mentioned that you try to make your home now resemble your home back in Mexico. Did you also have a farm back in Mexico?
We did live in a farm. Our house, I don't know how many, in our house, I don't know how old it is because it was made out of adobe. So I'm sure it has some history to it. I always wondered about that. But we had the adobe house, 1 room where we all stayed in 1 room. And we had chickens, goats, cows, a donkey that I did fall off one time, and I still have the scar to prove it. And that's another animal that I want to get. It's a donkey. They're cute.
So who taught you, who do you think taught you the most how to cook? Like your first recipe ever?
My mom.
Your mom?
I learned a lot from her. And the first recipe that I got down to the T was making flour tortillas because when we moved here to the United States, we would make tortillas. But since there was 8 of us, we didn't make a little bit. We made a big old stack of tortillas for everyone. So that was my very first recipe that I learned from her.
I heard, and I don't know if that's the case, that usually corn tortillas are more of, throughout, Latin America and so forth, but in Mexico, separated by regions. But flour tortillas are very, very ground in the northern part, that usually in central and southern Mexico are more familiar with just corn. Is that right? Is that what you heard too? So you learn flour because of the influence in this northern part?
Well, here when we moved here, the tortillas, you would buy them because we couldn't go to the tortilleria. You just buy them from the store. So the flour tortillas were like a treat. She wouldn't make them every day. It was more like a treat.
Yeah.
And my dad would eat them con azúcar. Así hacía su taco con azúcar y así se lo comía because he's always had a sweet tooth. So yeah, the flour tortillas was not an everyday thing.
You're right. It was like a treat, and then you put a little bit of butter and so good.
Oh yeah,
warm.
butter.
So tell us what are the lessons learned as you're building your brand and your business and your farm, and that we can share with others that maybe are planning to, their mothers at home, or just individuals that want to try something new like you did.
Well, you know what? I was always very shy. I wasn't very outgoing, but that didn't stop me because I went ahead and did it. So we all have, obstacles that we feel, oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. But we can. We all have that in us. We just have to start and do it. Just take it one day at a time.
Yeah, you're right? We need to make sure that we just don't think about it too much.
Yeah, just do it.
Experiment, explore. Is that what you feel that social media has been for you? More of a lot of experimenting? Or you have a plan before?
No, I didn't have a plan. I've been taking it one day at a time. I didn't let those fears stop me from doing it. Porque cuando crecíamos, when we were growing up, me decían, no hagas eso, porque qué va a decir la gente.
Sí es cierto.
Y it was like, I always had those fears in me. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I'm doing this.
So now, how do you deal with like other people's like perception of you?
Oh, there's a few out there, that sometimes comment, oh, this is not how you make it. I go, well, this is
how I make it.
You always have those type of people, but you just gotta learn to ignore all that stuff, because there's always gonna be negative in everything that you do in life. But
it's true. Cooking is very personal, right? And people take it sometimes that way as well. Like, that's not how it's supposed to be made. I'm like, no, it's just a way. Because I remember when we were interviewing Pati also, Hinish, and she was talking about exactly the same thing. And she does also explore a culture through cooking as well. But she was referencing that she will get those comments about, well, that's not how I make it or how you make it, and you're like, well, it's a very different way and evolves as well.
And to me, it's like a science. You just gotta mix different stuff and see how it comes. Sometimes you have to explore and try different things.
Yeah, I guess now with having like this big platform, I mean, with millions of views, like summed up with all of your videos and hundreds of thousands of followers, what message do you hope to share across via Salty Cocina?
I think the main message, is like, regardless of where you came from, what kind of upbringing you had, you could do anything that you want. It's never too late to start something. Like our farm, at 50, I'm over 50, and I'm like, starting over? It's like, why not? It's just take it one day at a time. It's the only time that it's late, then it's when you're underground, and while you're leaving, just live your best life and try different things, because you just never know what's there.
For sure.
For you.
Is there any particular moment when you felt that reinforced that this is the reason why you are in this space now, that you created Salty Cocina, or any specific moment that you were very proud of? We just heard about Eva Longoria and you visiting also.
Oh, yeah, you went to the Flaming Hot movie premiere?
Yes, we did go we got invited, and we went to LA to the Flaming Hot, and that was just like, oh my gosh, am I really here?
Yeah, I also saw that you were recognized as like the top TikTok Latinx influencers, like trailblazing. Yeah.
And I was...
How did that feel like when you heard that?
What was it called? The TikTok Latinx?
Yeah.
I was part of the Latinx back in 2021, I believe.
To know that you're like one of the top influencers in that genre, and like people are like looking up to your videos, like your cooking videos, and like find inspiration in that.
I found it so inspiring, because I started it, for a simple reason, just for my kids. And then at that time, so many people were staying home. They were looking for ways to make food at home, and my videos, my recipes, were inspiring so many people. And I was getting messages, oh my gosh, you remind me of my mom, you remind me of my grandma, my tia. And it was just a warm feeling that I have. And whenever I get those type of messages, even when I go out somewhere, people stop me. This lady at Costco, she stopped me. She almost started crying. She was screaming, She was just so excited. And it was just such a great feeling, that I inspire others like that.
It's amazing, right? The connection that you can make with, or others make with you, and then seeing in person, being able to, realize that you are getting to a lot of people and then inspiring them as well. And it's really that connection through food and culture.
Yeah. Do you think that has been like one of the top rewarding ways going through, or things about going through this journey? Or can you think of another, how else, like what other rewarding things do you feel like have come from, this journey in being with Salty Cocina?
I think the one with the connecting with others and, inspiring others. But I think the most rewarding one is that I can stay home, enjoy my kids, which is something that I always prayed for when my kids were little, wanting to, I wish I could find some way that, I can stay home and take care of my kids and I have to leave them for 8 hours and I have to leave them at the daycare. And I think this is going to inspire a lot of, younger moms out there, that there's other things that you can do and enjoy your family. And
do you have any plans coming up for like Salty Cocina? Anything that you have planned out or your vision for it?
We are probably in the process of, making an outdoor kitchen.
Para las carnes asadas.
Sí, and pretty much we're just kind of taking it one day at a time because the farm is taking so much time from us. And, we do have a few collaborations coming up. And, we just take it one day at a time. Whatever comes, we take it con open arms.
How old are your children?
My oldest is 35 and my youngest is 16.
So what did it say, looking at 4 years now of you growing your Salty Cocina and the platform? Are they part of your team to build, or how do they engage in this process with you?
I think they've been very engaging. Like for the Mother's Day, guys, I'm going to need you guys for a Mother's Day video. Can you guys come over? They gladly came over. And I think the same time, I've inspired them, to do their own thing on social media because they are also very shy. And all three of them, are like doing stuff. And, maybe I inspired them. I'm hoping I did.
I'm sure you have. Videos, while they seem simple, may take and the planning and the editing and everything else, and then managing your platforms and so forth. I'm sure it takes some time, and then the time that it takes of having the farm and maintenance. What do you do to relax?
Sit outside with my goats.
now 5.
Yeah, we don't let them out a lot because they have their own little playpen. But the little ones they run around, and once they start eating my flowers, and you guys are staying in there. But no, the chickens at night in the afternoon we let them out and they roam free in the mornings, and it's just so relaxing. Just
How
being
long
on
have
the
you
farm.
had the farm for?
A little bit over a year.
Oh, so it's very recent then.
Yes.
What inspired you to start the farm? Because I know you had mentioned you're like the idea of like starting all over and like having to walk yourself through that. It's like, I'm just going to live my life.
We wanted to move to Mexico because I just find, the outdoors, being, like that in a farm setting is so relaxing. But, like I said, my kids, I don't want to take my kids away from what they know. So we bought that little farm. We had been looking for a while and we finally found the exact one that we wanted. And now we've been doing changes to it, fixing it up, like our little own Mexico, Ranchito del Sol. And it's just growing. It's been growing. We've been
soon to have an outdoor kitchen. Yeah.
Not yet.
That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Coming up
Coming
soon.
up soon.
And I'm kind of, like you said, what do I have planned for Salty Cocina? I kind of want to integrate our farm with our videos. Like yesterday, we did a carnitas video, and in the middle of the video, we forgot, oh my gosh, we have to feed the goats. So we're like, we have to stop. We'll come back. And my husband's like, he was in the video. He's like, I heard somebody say they want to see us feeding the goats. I guess so we took the camera outside, and fed the goats and then came back in. So, kind of, little things like that you don't see every day, like feeding the baby goats.
Well, we're excited what's coming up next for you. Having you and your husband in our studio has been amazing. You guys really grounded us. And the fact that, to hear that we see a different stage and transformation of what our lives can be, and that we have control of making those changes when you have the right network, for sure, that helps you also along the way, and support that seems to you have with your family. So it's an honor to have you here today.
Oh, thank you. The honor is all mine. I've heard so much about the Chicanos por la Causa, and many years ago, you guys saved me in a way that I never imagined being saved, and we'll talk about that later.
Of course.
Oh, yes.
We're here to help, and it's so amazing. The organization has been alive for more than 56 years, and listening to your story, I look forward to continue. Certainly inspires us all every day, with nearly 2,000 staff in 6 states. And hearing the stories, it was really gives us a push to move forward.
Yes.
And because there are a lot of barriers, many times in different ways, but hearing the impact, long-standing impact, and the connection of how that evolves into long-lasting community-minded efforts is really inspiring. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time here at Empodérate de Chicanos por la Causa.